Great. Welcome everyone to Researching Your Pennsylvania Ancestors. And today we've got a lot to cover in a little bit of time. So I'm going to try to hit the highlights for you. So let me give you an overview of what I'm going to do this afternoon. Brief history, very brief history of Pennsylvania. Talking a little bit about geographical areas so we know where we're researching. Some of the immigrant groups that many of you may be researching. Research strategy, including what records to look for, where to find the key records, both online and print and other resources that you'll need to consult. So as we look at our map of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania is a pretty big state. And generally, when we talk sort of research-wise, generally we're talking eastern, so Philadelphia area, some of the areas like Hershey, Reading, and then some of the coal areas like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Hazleton, and so forth. Then we have sort of the middle, and then we have western Pennsylvania, where I grew up, so the Pittsburgh area, and then we have southwestern PA going down towards West Virginia and over also towards Youngstown. So there's quite a bit of territory to cover literally and figuratively when you're attempting to research your Pennsylvania ancestors. Briefly to talk about some history, Pennsylvania was founded as a colony in 1682. It was admitted into statehood in 1787 because of its central position in the original 13 colonies. It has long been referred to or known as the Keystone State. And something for genealogists, we need to know when birth and death records began, so that was 1906. So a little bit later than perhaps some of the other states you may be researching, and we'll talk quite a bit about vital records as we go through this webinar. But these are just a few things to keep in mind when you're researching. In the 19th century, it became an agricultural and industrial powerhouse and driven by the coal mining industry and the steel industries. I grew up in a steel town, Duquesne, outside of Pittsburgh, and there are many, many communities, especially in western Pennsylvania, also some in eastern Pennsylvania, Allentown, Bethlehem, and so forth, steel industries. German, Irish, Italian, Polish, Slovak, Russian immigrants, really an eclectic mix of immigrant groups that you could be researching. And when they came, went to large cities such as Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Scranton, Reading. Others may have settled in the smaller enclaves. We talk a lot about researching cluster communities, and certainly Pennsylvania has a number of those dotted throughout Allegheny County, Luzerne County, Westmoreland County, and other counties across the state. And if you want to learn more about Pennsylvania history, I can recommend this excellent website, which if you do get the CD and get the handouts, you'll have this as one of your links there. But the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission has a great online website that you can go to read more about Pennsylvania history. Online resources. So of course today we're all looking for what we can get at our fingertips at the click of a mouse, and what can we find from the comfort of our homes. And so one of your first stops online should be the FamilySearch Wiki for Pennsylvania. It's an excellent resource that can give you a great overview of how to jumpstart your research. Also, the Genealogy Research Guides, Tips and Online Records by Joe, I never know if it's Joe Biney or Joe Bine, but it's an excellent website and free that you can consult and get some great information about online records. Also, the Pennsylvania GenWeb project at pagenweb.org, which is another free resource, volunteers, and you can find a lot of great information for free on the PA GenWeb and connect with fellow researchers as well. So this is just a quick screenshot of the Pennsylvania Wiki. This is something you can explore on your own. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but as you can see, there's a clickable map of counties. And of course, when we research, we need to know what county we're researching in so we know where to go for records that we need. And as you can see, there are quite a few counties in Pennsylvania, so you do need to know your ancestors' county, and that's where a resource such as the FamilySearch Wiki really comes in handy. It gives you history, it gives you all types of records. Of course, FamilySearch does have some great digital records already uploaded online for Pennsylvania, and we will go through a few of those. I will show you a few examples of that website and where you can find some of their collections. But definitely take a look at their wiki. And this is the Genealogy Research Guides, Joe Bonnie's website. And he has such great resources, including the online searchable death indexes and naturalization and military and passenger lists and immigration records resources. Just a phenomenal free resource that you can consult. PA GenWeb, again, when you're looking, you'll look by county, and so you can go in and click on each of the counties and see what types of records are available for free on the GenWeb. When we talk about the online resources, Pennsylvania has been a bit slower in bringing records online, but I'm happy to say that great progress is being made, and you'll be able to find some great records on Ancestry.com. Of course, you have to have a subscription or access via a library, but also Archives.com, which is also a subscription site. Of course, we know that Ancestry has now purchased them, and so there's going to be a relationship there. But Archives.com does have some as well. Of course, FamilySearch, which we just mentioned about the wiki. Fold3 has some Pennsylvania records. Again, you can't go wrong by going to Cindy's list and checking all of the links that she has for Pennsylvania. You can go and check out her free site as well. Just a quick screenshot, Ancestry's data collections, there's a lot of free stuff. They're really starting to add a lot of great Pennsylvania resources, everything from census and voter lists to some church and town records, military, newspapers and so forth, church directory, schools. Again, as you go through Ancestry, you'll be able to see that there are some available for free, and you can go and take a look at what they have. And if you narrow it by county, you can see that they list how many unique collections they have to each county. So you can go on to Ancestry's website and take a look at that when you have a chance to peruse it. But they are coming online with more and more records all the time, so keep checking back. Archives.com, of course, they do have some as well. You can take a look and see maybe they have something that you're not finding elsewhere. Again, another great resource. The FamilySearch collection has quite a bit of marriages and some births and christenings. Some are images only, some are indexes, so you can take a look through those. And again, keep checking back because they upload at a great rate. Lots of records are coming online via FamilySearch, so you want to take a look at what they have, things like naturalization petitions and some death certificates, Philadelphia, some passenger lists, Pittsburgh city deaths, and so on. Fold3, again, especially if you're looking for Revolutionary War ancestors, Civil War ancestors, but they also have some interesting records, which I'll mention a little bit more later on. They have some city directories, a few naturalization petitions, and some other more obscure records that you can possibly find something in if you have a membership to Fold3. This is Cindy's list for Pennsylvania. Again, she has it nicely organized and by subcategory, and so you can go on and find out exactly what she has linked there. And sometimes it's a great just general resource if you're looking for something obscure, say something in prisons or occupations and other topics. So let's start off with vital records, because vital records are the biggie. And before the mid-1800s, Pennsylvania's vital records laws were largely ignored. The compliance remained low even after the state required counties to record births, marriages, and deaths in the 1850s. And so all Pennsylvania counties actually began recording marriage licenses in 1885. And this is, key when you're researching. You really need to know the time period that you're searching, what the laws were, and where you may find the records. And generally, the earlier you go back, especially, you're going to want to focus in on the local and the county records, the local courthouses, the county repositories, for many of the records that you're looking for. And from 1893 to 1905, the state tried registration of births and deaths at the county level, but they weren't that successful. And some larger cities such as Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Scranton, and others had already started keeping vital records in the late 1860s and 1870s, but the statewide registration of births and deaths began in 1906. And you may, if you've been paying attention, if you have Pennsylvania ancestors, in the last 6 months or so, there's been a lot of talk about the Pennsylvania Vital Records Bill, and it was signed into law in December of 2011. You can read all about this bill if you go to this legislation page. This is in the handouts. You can type the bill number and you can actually read the entire text of the bill if you're interested in doing so. But basically, in February of 2012, the PA Division of Vital Records opened for public access death records older than 50 years and birth records older than 105 years. And there's free online indexes to both record sets at the health.state.pa website. Again, you can simply, Google this Division of Vital Records. It's a very long URL. It is included in the handouts, but you can get to it pretty easily simply by putting in PA Vital Records or Division of Vital Records. This is what the screen looks like. It talks about Act 110. And it gives you basically everything you need to know about the indices online. It gives you examples. Many years of the indices, especially 1920, 1924 deaths and 1930 to 1951 deaths, they're listed according to the Russell Soundex of indexing, which is a specific method of indexing, and you can actually read all about that by clicking on the link there if you're interested in exactly how it works. But you can download application forms and to order copies of any vital records that you find in the indices. The death index that's free covers 1906 to 1961. It's in a non-searchable PDF format organized by the year and first letter of the surname. They're a bit cumbersome to search, but usually if you go through it, you know, if you know an ancestor died in a particular